I'm going to review one of my own movies from a long time ago. Or should I say a pitch for a movie from a long time ago. So I'm not going to talk a lot about it. I'm just going to get right into it. I want to know what you think. I want to get your thoughts on it. I'm going to give you my own. When I was watching back just a moment ago, there was a little bit of cringe in it for me. But anyway, I need to know, would you go and watch this movie? Would you pay money to go and watch this? Does this sound like something that you would see? There's a bit of a story behind it. But anyway, here it is. The movie in
Welcome to
question
the
is
film
called
proposal
Human
for
in Context. Shut up, mate. Right, okay. The movie is called Human in Context. That was the working title for it. Here we go. Have a watch, see what you think.
Welcome to the film proposal for Human in Context. It's a political drama, think West Wing, Danny Boyle, Steve Jobs, but with the sci-fi tone of The Martian. It's a very grounded, mostly political thriller. The logline goes like this. Seismic world events coincide to force an astronaut to make an impossible choice that will shape the future of mankind forever. So, at the start of this story, we join a young Himat Imani, who watches his father being taken to prison for criminal negligence. It's a sentence his father will not survive, unlike the shame he's brought on his family, which in their native India does not fade easily. And decades later, Himat is now a newly married young man. He's a decorated pilot and an astronaut, chosen to lead a mission to go further into space than any human ever has, to the asteroid Eros. Now, such heroism should normally be enough to buy back his family's honor. But while he's away, the world changes. A lot. And when a comprehensive new study on imminent overpopulation coincides with an unexpected, visually stunning display of a game-changing technology, humanity suddenly has the motivation and the means to dramatically accelerate the quest to settle colonies on other worlds. Political gamesmanship begins swiftly. In a post-Brexit coup, the UK government moves fast to secure a deal with this new tech startup. And the speed of the development shocks the world. Calls go out to scrap the Outer Space Treaty, which is a real thing, thereby allowing nation states for the first time to claim jurisdiction over planets and moons. And while the new regs on planetary ownership are being negotiated, Russia sends a covert mission towards Mars. Time to be in a position to claim it as soon as the new rules come into effect. America's clandestine services discover this, and so an American mission already in development is brought forward in a hurry. And throughout it all, a US ambassador and his Russian counterpart, they have to negotiate desperate bids to keep their countries relevant. Both need to win a sudden space race, but both want to avoid an all-out military confrontation in space, although both sides are preparing for one. Both sides see Mars as a hugely important strategic asset, standing between Earth and all other worlds and the closest potential staging area for deeper space missions. It's an asset that nobody can allow to be owned outright by a rival. As the largest usable planet besides Earth, it's a prize that cannot be lost. Who lands first will set the geopolitical map for the next 100 years. In their race against each other, however, everybody's forgotten the little Indian ship, 9 months into its journey and returning home from Eros. And as Eros' orbit intersects that of Mars, fate has put them in the unwittingly perfect position to take the lead, for which they are completely unprepared. Receiving orders to make the turn and head for Mars, Himat and his crewmate Kira, they aren't equipped, they aren't supplied, and no rescue will come for at least a year. They must decide quickly whether or not to obey an order they likely won't survive, because the turn window is closing. The American and Russian missions are armed and making threats to each other. The Indians are caught in the middle, and the turn window is closing. If they make the turn, Himat cements his family honor, and Kira will prove herself to be more than a daughter to be married off, but they may never see their families again. If they disobey and carry on home, none of their accomplishments on this mission so far will matter. They'll be branded cowards and failures. They must choose, and the turn window is closing. In the dying moments, in the midst of receiving threats on his life and orders for radio silence from his command, Himat gets a message from his wife, that she'd been forced to keep from him until now. While he's been away, he became a father. And when he was a child, he lost his father along with his family honor. He gets to give one of those to his own child. He must choose, and the turn window is closing.
Okay, so there's there's the pitch. This was when I come up with the idea of Ex Uno decades and decades ago. This is if you're just watching for the first time, it's a 130-year story arc. It's massive, it's epic, it's got all sorts of stuff going on in it. And I decided during the 2020 lockdown, I've had this idea for years and years and years. I've got this whole concept about how we can revolutionize storytelling across Hollywood, and this would be like a test case of it. I need to show it to someone, surely. And I'd been thinking that for years and years and years. And then 2020 lockdown came. I'm stuck at home, got all the time in the world. And I'm like, well, if I'm not going to do it now, when am I? So I set about, I've been doing filmmaking for years in various different guises, but not actual, release a movie with a narrative and a story filmmaking. So I've been doing videography and film as part of live work, like, theatrical stuff where videos play, that kind of thing. So, okay, I need to actually make a film, a feature film. I need to go for it. And so this was the idea I came up with. Let's tell the story of the start of this whole universe, which was Human in Context. And what I did with this, not this video, but with the script that I just read to you there, I actually pitched it to a whole bunch of movie execs on Stage 32, which is it's like social media, but for film people. So you can speak to writers and producers and actors and all sorts, and you can actually pitch to studio executives, which I did. And I pitched it about 5 or 6 times to different execs. I had to pay for each one. This doesn't come for free. I had to pay for each one, and I pitched it a bunch of times, and I got almost entirely good feedback from it, but none of them wanted to take it on for various reasons. So one of them said, we already have a piece about a space story with an astronaut who needs to make a difficult choice, so this would be too similar. Another one said, this sounds really, really good, but we're only a very small studio, and this sounds like it would need a lot of money spending on it. And there was another one said, sci-fi doesn't sell. Sci-fi just doesn't sell at all. We know, we've just released a series on this streaming service and it didn't sell, and we're not doing anything with space anymore. I'm like, I can name a few examples where sci-fi in space works really, really well. But anyway, yeah, there was a few. One didn't give me any reason why no at all. It was a really, really glowing bit of feedback. This is great. Oh, the audience would love to be on this journey. No reason at all why why aren't you going to commission it then? There was nothing. And then there was one guy, British guy, who was very, very honest. For the most part, he loved it. He said, I was with you all the way up until the ending. And because it's got an ambiguous ending, he was the only one who asked, how does the story end? Because in the pitch there, it just kind of says, well, him at a point of making a difficult choice. And he said, how does the story end? That's my camera there, by the way. The one that I don't live stream with. This one is a Mac camera, which keeps like doing this, going all sort of weird ways. Got a new camera coming, so it won't do that from next week. This is the camera that I actually record the videos on. It's got a teleprompter there. I don't know if you can see it if I do this. There you go. There's the teleprompter that I read the scripts with. Anyway, moving on. Come back over here, camera. Yeah, so this guy, he said, I was with you all the way up till the ambiguous ending. Audiences don't like that. They'll throw popcorn at the screen. That was his actual quote. And I thought, well, I mean, I thank you for all the positive stuff you said about everything else in the film, but you're so wrong. I mean, Inception has an ambiguous ending. Lots and lots of films have ambiguous endings that do really, really well. So I don't know if he was coming up with an excuse or whatever. So anyway, a bunch of execs loved this, but none of them wanted to take it on. So I thought, well, I need to do a complete rewrite. I need to go back and do a refresh and look at, how do I get or maybe try a different direction. But what I decided to do in the end was to just go in a completely different direction with Ex Uno and tell the story from the end instead of the beginning. And if you've seen any of the stuff on the channel, you'll have seen there's a teaser already. So if you look on the channel for the Legacy Files teaser, this is a story from near the end of the story. I figured I'd do a George Lucas and start later on, because doing that allows what Ex Uno is supposed to be, which is not just me telling stories to a community of fans and followers, but a way for fans and followers to actually be creators and be a part of this and tell parts of the story themselves. So that's what's happening with the legacy files. However, this will also be something that happens with Human in Context. Let me explain why. So with this film, you'll see that there's a whole bunch of different characters mentioned. And so the film works as a series of vignettes where there's the this game-changing, revolutionary new technology that it talks about. Well, that's a story in and of itself. And then there's the political clash between Russia and America. That's a story in and of itself. There's Himat's story, him and his father and the struggle he goes through. That's a story in and of itself. And there's others there, key characters where it all sort of coalesces at the end and it all creates this context in which this context, human in context, of which Hemant has to make this really difficult, impossible choice. And I thought, okay, well, if we're going to do the ex uno thing, if we're going to go into this idea of allowing creators to make their own stories and contribute, what I'm actually going to do, I'm not going to make Human in context as a film by myself. I mean, I'm working on the Legacy Files, The Last Exodus, Human Remnant. I'm working on these other film projects which are ready for release now. But instead of making a feature of this beginning of the story, what I'm going to do is I'm going to allow different filmmakers, different storytellers, all the individual characters. So the American ambassador, the Russian ambassador, there's a fleet of American space marines, not 40k, more realistic space marines that are on the way to Mars at the end of this story. There's a fleet of Russian Spetsnaz cosmonauts who are on the way out as well. This is going to be a battle. Well, I want the story of each of them to be told individually. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to allow writers to take on part of this story and say, you tell the whole background of this, you tell the story of this character. And what we're going to do then is piece it together as a web series. Now you can watch the whole thing compiled together as a single film, a series of vignettes. If you've ever seen the movie Syriana, it does that kind of thing where it's lots of different characters doing their story and it all comes together at the end. The camera just did that because my hands did. I can't cope with this Mac camera. Anyway, so that's the thing that's going to be coming up at some point in the future. But in terms of the pitch, okay, if you're a new filmmaker and you want to know how to make a pitch, well, welcome to the Ex Uno channel, because we're all about filmmakers, helping filmmakers and storytellers, helping storytellers. So let me just talk you a few bits here. So firstly, I wrote the whole pitch from beginning to end. And when I had Skype calls with these movie execs, do you know what I did? I had the Skype call on a webcam in the teleprompter. So I was actually reading the exact script I just did on the video there, word for word. I did, looking the exec in the eye, and it came across as a really polished pitch. And they all said the same thing. That pitch was really polished. So if you're planning on pitching your film, go on stage32.com, find the exec you want to pitch to, write your pitch ahead of time. They want it to be 10 minutes or less, and that includes time for introduction and questions. So you're looking 6 or 7 minutes for the whole pitch. Okay. So you write it, you do your script, and then you do it that way. That would be my advice. If you're going to do a video pitch like this, let me just do a react to the one I just created. So first of all, hang on, I'm just going to turn the volume off there. First of all, light it better than this, because looking back, I'm cringing at just how dull the lighting is. And if you want to show yourself up as being a newbie filmmaker, someone who doesn't really know what they're doing, you're just starting in this, make your lights too dim. Because you always want to go for the cinematic lighting. And you can see there, oh, look, it's so cinematic. It's bicolors and the colors are coming from the sides there and you've got shadows. It creates depth. Yes, it does, but it's just too dim. So don't chase texture in your lighting at the cost of it just being bright enough. This is so dim, and if I was to do this again, I would have done it differently. If you're wondering about the logo in the background, by the way, no green screen. I actually had a projector. So I got hold of a short throw projector. It was thrown out of like a school or something that it wasn't needed anymore. So just looking around for where the spurs are I can get hold of. And I just thought, okay, if I put that behind me and I put enough distance between me and it, and I'm just going to create that logo, which I did. I used PowerPoint to create that logo. Just project it behind me and I thought it'll look good. The only difficulty was the projector was picked up on the microphone, so it was actually difficult to get good sound. So not that I expect you to do that, because this is just a me kind of thing, but anyway, yes, always make sure that your sound is good. Audiences will forgive bad picture easier than bad sound. Bad sound makes a film unwatchable. Bad picture actually doesn't. Anyway, let's move on. So what you'll see is it goes from me talking to all the visuals. Okay, so there's the log line. In case you're not aware, before you pitch your film, you have to have a log line, which is a description of the film in, I think it's 25 words or less. It's sometimes known as an elevator pitch. Okay, this is not a strap line or a tagline. So, for instance, Alien, the tagline is, "In space, no one can hear you scream." But if you met a studio exec, or if you met Steven Spielberg in an elevator and you want to say, "This is the movie I want you to make. I've got a great idea for a movie." And he says, "Okay, tell me more," instead of just having you arrested for talking to him. Well, what are you going to say? You couldn't say, "In space, no one can hear you scream." That doesn't tell him what the movie is. A logline is a complete description of the movie in 25 words or less. So with Alien, it would be sleeping musicians. Musicians? No, let's start that again. Sleeping astronauts are awoken to the presence of an alien world that wreaks havoc when one of the aliens is let loose on the ship. Don't know if that's 25 words, but can you see what I mean? It's a single sentence that just describes the whole movie. Here's one. I'm not even going to tell you what the movie is. Four friends lose one of their number in Las Vegas after a drunken night out. You know what the movie is, right? It's The Hangover. Do you see? A logline is just a sentence that describes the whole thing. And if you're pitching to an exec, first up, they want the logline. Just tell me what this is about. Anyway, so we start with visuals here. Always go to visuals. Don't do what I'm doing right now and just be a dude talking on camera. And then we go to all of this. Now, where am I getting all this this footage from? Well, I just went on to, I think it was Storyblocks. So I paid for a month subscription. It was about £30, something like that, about $40. And this just gives me unlimited access to stock footage. And I just grabbed as much as I could that was even remotely close to what I was looking at. So, you know, this was just a rocket launches. You put it in the right context and it works. This is a graphic that I made myself, just downloaded some images, an actual image of Eros there. And then again, I used PowerPoint to just sort of put it together to make it look like this. All of this, this writing in the corner here, that's just gobbledygook, just sci-fi gobbledygook. If ever you want to laugh, watch a sci-fi movie when they've got all the screens coming up in the background to make it look all sci-fi. Just look at what they're saying. It's garbage. It's absolute gobbledygook. But anyway, that's the thing that happens. So yeah, this is just lots and lots and lots of stock footage. You'll see this kind of footage everywhere in like corporate videos and that kind of thing. This is such a well-used clip that you see. So yeah, this was all free to get hold of. It takes a long time to comb through and find the stuff you're looking at, and you won't find everything that you want, but you just get something close enough. Your narrative, your voiceover will paint the picture and help to settle where this is. So this, I'm talking about an American ambassador and a Russian ambassador. Is that what they are? No, it's just two businessmen looking at each other. This I got off the website Unsplash, I think it was, which used to be a really, really good site for getting free photos. Now it's not, because it got bought out by Getty Images. So there's a few free photos and a lot of adverts for Getty Images. So my advice is to use pexels.com instead. But there you go. This was just a simple picture of two businessmen talking. I thought that will do. That'll do it. So yeah, this is not Mars, obviously. this is just a quarry or something. And I thought I'll get it from overhead and I'll just use my video editor to just put a red tinge on it, or an orangey tinge, because none of the footage you see from Mars is actually red. It's this kind of orangey. So yeah, again, in the right context, you know, you put this back to back with you know, conversations about a colony on Mars. That's what it looks like. This is just an image I downloaded. Just Google, you know, Eros orbit, and that's what it shows. So then just a handy bit of zoom in there, and that's it. It's dead easy. So it's a really easy thing to do, making a pitch video like this, because all the images are there for free. This I made. This is a video clip that I made, and it's just a stock image of a display. And then all of this, again, I made in PowerPoint. I didn't have access to any other kind of graphics program. And I've just put these lines here like this. And all I'm doing is It's there, I've deleted it. It's there, I've deleted it. It's there, I've deleted it. So I'm just cutting bits of that video out and it looks like it's flashing. That's it. It's dead easy. These are just different layers of graphics, and some of them stay there, and some of them are flashing on and off as they go. Anyway, that's about it. That's how to make a pitch video. When I look back, I am generally fairly happy with the whole thing, to be honest with you. I'm quite happy with it. When I look back, I think the lighting could have been better, and I was lighting it like an amateur. So don't look at the lighting right now. Again, I'm using a webcam on my MacBook right now, so it's not going to look great. I've got a new camera coming next week, and that's going to look fantastic. Anyway, so here's what's going to happen with the live streams on here, and I'm going to switch back to the normal time, which is 9 p.m. UK time on a Thursday. I'm going to start doing that. But I just figured let's just get something out there. Let's just do a live. I know there's like one person watching, and I think I know who that is. Hi there. But yeah, I'm going to do lots more React videos. I'm going to react to some actual films that I made. This was just a pitch. I'm going to react to some actual films that I made, and you can watch that. I'm going to do some tutorials. This is how I made this. This is how I made stuff. And I'm going to start giving some advice. And I'm going to start reacting to other indie filmmaker sci-fi movies as well, because I really want to get into the weeds on how do you make a sci-fi movie for next to no money. That's a difficult concept to get your head around. And a lot of people think that sci-fi is really expensive. No, it's not. It's not at all. So I'm going to show you that. I'm going to show you a bunch of the props I've made in the past, a bunch of costumes and stuff. It's going to get really, really good. And do not miss the big announcement. Sorry, I just hit the new mic. By the way, new camera coming soon. The new microphone is already here. It cost me 20 whole pounds. It's wonderful. Does it sound okay? Please let me know. Anyway, yeah, there's a massive announcement coming to the Xuno channel, and in fact, all the Xuno channels, all of the stuff that we're doing. There's a huge change coming, which we're going to announce really soon. But that's about it, guys. Stick with me. We are building to a revolution. It is happening, and I want you guys on board. In fact, I need you guys on board because I can't do it without you. Anyway, that's it. I've rambled long enough. Thank you for listening. You may go about your business. Enjoy your day.